If you ever said knit 1, purl 3, then you'll be so glad you stuck around for more Explore Tulsa.
That's right, Stevie. One of the newest exhibits at the 108 Contemporary took a lot of knitting to pull it all together.
And that job was led by artist Romy Owens. But she couldn't do it all by herself.
No, it took the help of volunteers from all over Oklahoma to create thousands of 8x8-inch knitted squares to give us a huge blanket we can enjoy at the heart of the Brady Arts District.
So all of the different kinds of crafts that implement fiber, like weaving, quilting, knitting, crocheting, all of those things are not lost art, they're just kind of forgotten arts. Like there are still so many people within the population that are doing these things, they just do it in quiet, private ways, and this is a way in which we can celebrate everybody's craft work. Knit bombing is a really popular way in which to do what is kind of essentially a temporary form of graffiti, like a kinder, gentler graffiti.
So this is the largest knit bombing project of its kind. The communities that we've seen people cover steps up to a church or an entire bridge have been granny squares where it's been kind of a random color palette and kind of all pieced together, which are still really beautiful. But this is the first time that there's been a concept, this concept of the unbearable absence of landscape. So that's what makes this really unique.
Last year, while I was working at AHA on installing a different art installation, Emily, who worked here at 108 Contemporary as the executive director, contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in leading a statewide knit bomb project.
So the initial idea was just to do this large knit bombing project, and then it was Romy who really came up with the concept, the idea of it being a landscape, and this kind of digitized, pixelated version of the landscape.
And it incorporated work from 350 knitters statewide who helped to make all the squares that go into this installation. One of the ways in which I was able to find everybody was through social media, and I used Facebook. In fact, I would say without Facebook, this project wouldn't have been possible. Like all of my primary communication with the knitters has been through Facebook. So to reach out to the knitters, there was a very specific call with a cast-on number, use this kind of yarn, use this color of yarn. No one was assigned specifically sky or grass. It was very much like, we need this much blue, we need this much green, and so they did it. The people who qualified to knit. Are you a knitter? Great, please knit for this project. It was pretty simple, just putting that call out. People were really excited to be a part and help. So between February and the beginning of August, we spent a lot of time knitting. There were knitting circles, there was a drop off your knitting here, all over the state, all of that was happening. And then from September through last week, me and about 50 people seamed it together, and it took a combined 1,000 hours just to seam it together. We had a spot in Oklahoma City that was set up where people could come in, spend a couple of hours literally sewing square to square until we had the panels. I think in thinking about knitting and the significance of it, the idea of taking a line of thread and turning that into a surface and turning that surface into a form is that the transformation of material is pretty profound. And the fact that you do this essentially, you know, through a thousands of year old technique with sticks, I mean, it's a real visceral experience. And then even that, the action of knitting, this performative kind of ritual, meditative process, it does something inside your brain that is incredibly calming and reduces stress and induces a feeling of peace, and then just everything about that you make something with your hands. We've got a manufactured and synthetic landscape here, but there are still hidden jewels of landscape all around us in the state that honestly are disappearing quickly. I hope that we all take a moment to appreciate the landscapes that we're surrounded by in a more meaningful way.
Well, I hope that they will see that as Oklahomans, we already know that we're a very unified community. We support one another. And so whenever we have this idea to do this enormous project, that it still sometimes blows our mind that we were able to do it, I think it shows how we can all come together and work on something for a common goal.